Right, everyone. So the network has asked us to come up with a new idea for the show. So does anyone have any good ideas for our next episode, please?
Me, Big Boy H.
Yeah.
Hey guys. So I've been thinking, right? And it's a doozy of a think. We get one of our actors, preferably Mark. He's the top dog, right? But we get Mark, and we get him on the show. We write up this story that he's involved in a catfish scam, and he's a romance scammer, and he takes 500,000 from a woman and her disabled son. I'm telling you, the ratings will...
You shush. Now, what are you talking about?
No, but think of it, like how ludicrous it sounds. People will be like, "Oh my god!"
Shut up, rat boy. You need to understand that there's no realism in that.
Listen, you can stand there with your PowerPoint preservation, and yes, I said preservation because presentations you'd have to be good at, and I'm the best here. I'm preserving the story, in fact.
Don't look at me.
Right, I can see that you do not look happy, but realism? It's real. It's happened. It's literally happened.
But we begin tonight with a woman from Oxford who says she was scammed out of her life savings by someone she thought she would marry. Welcome to 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Mike Duffy. Thank you so much for joining us. The woman tells us that she sold her car and her home and is out nearly $500,000 after giving everything to a scammer who convinced her that they were actor and NCIS star Mark Harmon. And tonight, we're learning this type of scam is growing across the country.
7 News Detroit reporter Sarah Michaels is raising this woman's voice and sharing her heartbreaking story to find out what can be done to help her.
Incoming monstrous harsh H. I don't really think I'll be heartbroken here, because knowing the type of story that this usually descends into, we're gonna get some kind of BS reasoning from the scammer. You got a victim falling head over heels over unrealistic lovers. So heartbreak is off the cards, dare I say. I just need to preface right away. If you're selling your home, your car, you're spunking 500K on anyone, regardless, you love them, you don't love them, you've met them, you've not met them, celebrity or regular degular schmegular civilian, you need to get a grip of yourself. You need to take a deep, long, hard look at yourself in the mirror, because there is no amount of excuses or reasoning that you can provide me that I'm going to say everything you've just done is A-okay. I forgive.
How do you feel looking back on those messages?
Sick to my stomach.
It's difficult not to tear up yourself seeing the pain and the honest turmoil that Sandy Selvin is in today.
I would have never, ever done anything to jeopardize my family for this. Never.
You did.
The 68-year-old woman from Oxford keeps to herself most days, tending to one of her adult sons who has special needs. Do your sons know?
Yeah.
Look, I understand this news program right now is wrapping the victim in bubble wrap, cotton wool, whatever, packing peanuts, anything to protect her, right? And the language that the narrator is using, sort of creating this environment for us to feel sympathetic and to emphasize how much of a victim, quote unquote, she is. However, let's take a look at this objectively. As traumatic as the experience is, and as obviously upsetting it is for her and her family, I struggle to have sympathy when not only do victims spunk away money that is used to care for themselves, be it disability, etc., or their family, you've literally got a son who needs special care, he has special needs, but you've thought, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to use all of this money that would be so much better used for him, for us. So where should I draw sympathy here because it's seemingly, right? It's seemingly obvious, 99%, that you didn't care about any of this beforehand whilst you was in the midst of sending it. So should we? You know, do you see my point there?
My son's sick over it. My other son won't even talk to me. He's like, Mom, I'm like, I don't know what happened, what this guy did to me.
The small family was happy until what started last April when Sandy got a message over Facebook.
This person was talking to me. I didn't think it was any big deal. I just talked for a few minutes. I didn't see really any harm.
Hold on a second. Because if someone is talking to you randomly online, you just always in your head assume there can be harm in this. I just want to read these conversations. I'll get to that message, honey, can we exercise? Honey, I made my mind up since we meant that you are the one I want to spend the rest of my life with. Same. Good. Yes. What is this conversation? Huh? That's not loving, is it? Like, if your partner speaks to you in that way after such a message, as shitty and cringe as it seems, if you just say, same, good, yes? This is a sitcom at this point. I love you so much, baby. I love you so much too, honey. Same, my love. Same, mi amor. Mi amor. Mi amor. Soon we'll be together. Soon. Yes. Honey, can we exercise after breakfast? I mean, that's what people do, right?
This person was talking to me. I didn't think it was any big deal.
Good.
I just talked for a few minutes. I didn't...
Yeah, hold on. I'm reading. Woman whose name I do not know. Yes. Did you sleep well? Not so well. I was thinking about us. I kept looking at your picture all night long, even this AM. What about us? Same, honey. Same. We are going to be very happy together, my love. Yes, my love, we are. It's just someone says a message. The other person, I guess, validates the message. Yes. The other person says, same. Yes. Is this love? Get a grip of yourself. I can understand potentially taking care of your son has exhausted you perhaps, and you are seeking a romantic love, romantic admiration. I get that. But this doesn't scream of it. And also, exercising after breakfast. Just be careful you don't defecate yourself.
That is one big pile of shit.
I didn't see really any harm at that point.
A relationship began. Hundreds of messages
too
a day.
many.
The person then asked
No! Look right there. Yes, my queen. Yes, my king. Just give a second. I need to rewind. I need to read the whole thing. Okay? Because the video is short and I'm stat padding time. Anyway, honey, please don't cry. We have to be strong for him. Honey, you have no idea how I feel inside having to hear and watch him go through all this. Honey, I can only imagine, and I know it's really hard seeing him that way, I understand. And I can't do anything except cry inside. I do the best I can for him, but, honey, I'm so sad right now. That's for sure. I know. You're an amazing woman to be sincere.
a relationship began.
Hold on. Honey, please don't, because when he sees you, he's going to feel so good knowing he has a real dad that truly cares beside me. I can't wait to surprise him, honey. Is there anything that Adam loves? I want to get him something special. The Xbox is not good enough. Honey, are you there? I'm here just thinking. Okay, sweetheart, you can let me know. Okay, I will think about it and let you know. Thanks, sweetheart. I love you so much, Sandy. You're welcome, sweetheart. It's just so cringe. There is no level of realism in this conversation. It is quite literally love bombing. And a proper good example of this is that I think that's 6:38 p.m. or something. And then 3 minutes later, honey, are you there? You can't even go toilet when talking to this guy because you'll be bombarded. So I completely understand in that regard that this constant pressure on you to be there speaking, it can take its toll on you mentally. But as we see here, she confirms my thoughts that it is exhausting taking care of her son, and I completely understand that. But you clearly care for him. But where in and amongst this did you lose that care to send so much money that will no doubt devastate any family? Like, maybe you shit out moolahs and spunking 500k is not a problem. But in most cases, in most romance scam victims, that is a devastating amount of money.
Hundreds of messages a day. The person then asks,
And then, of course, look, yes, my queen, yes, my king, hug emoji, hug emoji, smiley, heart, smiley, heart. This is childish AF, man.
Sandy to switch over to an app, Zangi, where they
Why?
revealed their identity.
He portrayed himself as Mark Harmon.
Mental.
Mark Harmon, the actor and NCIS star. With their identities revealed over the course of the next 10 months, the alleged Harmon would ask how Sandy's son was. He would tell her how much he loved her.
Hold on a second, because if this was genuinely the real celebrity, yeah, why is he sending you a picture that is made on paint, I guess? To remove the background, slap a white background behind it, because let's portray some semblance of angelicness, right? But not an actual selfie. Foolish.
Would talk about their wedding and being together. Just one thing stood in the way.
Well, he had told me that he was in Italy, that he was under a contract.
The person told Sandy that his money was tied up in California. He just needed to be loaned a couple $100,000 to pay his crew off,
What?
get home and get his own money. Then he would be able to come live with Sandy and her son. He said he had more than enough money to take care of them both.
Oh, except more than enough money to actually pay the supposed crew. Isn't he an actor? I'm assuming, right? Because that's what the title says. So why is he paying the crew and not the actual production company / directors if they pay the peoples? What's going on here? I really don't understand. And once again, it's the typical case of the lover caring so much about the other person and their family to the point that they are willing to take all of their money, hundreds of thousands. We're not talking sprinkles here. We're talking big dollars, okay? Hundreds and thousands sprinkles in my mouth if you really want to. But this story is sprinkling patheticness, okay? That's what this is giving. It's giving pathetic because I can't just... Composure.
I'm sorry. I can't handle this.
It's so pathetic of the lover. They love this person so much, they're going to take all your money. Forget the fact that your son has special care needed. I'm just going to take your money. I love you so much, though.
So Sandy started wiring who she thought was her future husband the money that he said he needed.
Whatever.
Overall, how much money did you give this individual?
You shouldn't have any of it. I think it was like a total of 400 and some, 475.
Sandy sold her car and her family home to get the money.
Was that all the
Family
money
home.
that you have? You have no money left.
Nothing.
Your retirement, everything gone?
So, I don't...
Just hold on. Because yes, I'm not a monster, I'm not a robot. I do feel for her when I see her crying on this screen. Cool. I feel some sort of empathy. But sympathy perhaps is different because you've done this to your own self here. Because at no point did it seem like you were considering the ramifications, right? Earlier on when they mentioned that the son, one of her sons, has stopped talking to her, I completely understand, right? This isn't our place to tell the son, no, this is your mother, you should still talk to her. Because I hate the notion that because someone is family, you should bend over backwards for them and forgive them for everything, etc., etc. They can be some of the most toxic people you will ever have the unfortunateness to be in vicinity of. So I understand that, son, And especially, selling the family home, who knows what kind of sentiment and memories are tied to that. You just didn't care. Sell it, because this man needs the money. The celebrity, might I add. At no point did you stop and think to yourself, maybe we'll find out later as we progress. But you didn't ask yourself, this guy should, realistically, cool, his money's tied up, but he should have someone else in contact with him that he can get this money from, rather than me, who's struggling, taking care of someone.
Calm yourself, boy. You are acting hysterical.
I also think it doesn't need to be said, but this is the H channel where a rambling rat boy rambles. So realistically, what did you expect? It goes without saying that once you get to a certain point where financial struggles start to rear their ugly head, are you going to stop? Like, surely there comes a point at, I don't know, when you get to like a couple hundred maybe, that you're thinking, this is crazy. No? Don't tell me love. Stop it. Okay, stop it. And this is why I am the way I am with the victims. The comments are becoming increasingly, more that people say, stop. Don't say these things. Look at where the victims end up if no one intervenes, bro. Like, I'm not saying me saying this is my way of intervening, because shit's already happened, right? However, when it comes to family members intervening, or perhaps friends, and they lay it down hard, but they don't want to listen because, not hard, babying. Or there are cases where family members lay it down hard and they just cut contact with the victim, because you can only help someone so much. Do you know what I mean? But look at what's happened here. This is why I feel so strongly. You can't baby these victims, because she's not only put herself in jeopardy, but her son who relies on her. So...
With her life savings now in his pocket, the man told Sandy he was boarding a flight to her. Then his account disappeared.
It's just everything in my life it's just gone. I've never been so sick about anything in my life.
Now, according to the Federal Trade Commission, romance scams just like this one are on the rise nationwide. They say that in 2022, nearly 70,000 people reported falling victim to one. Is this something that you've heard of before?
Sadly, a lot.
The Oakland County Sheriff's Department is investigating Sandy's case. Sheriff Bouchard tells me these scams are often targeted and come from overseas. The criminals searching for older individuals who have lost their life partners.
As soon as the obituaries in the paper, they'll start contacting a widow.
Is there anything that can be done to get your money back after you've sent it?
Well, a lot of times these are offshore, and in many cases they're with countries in which we don't have a treaty.
Bouchard says it is impossible to know how many people this has happened to because victims are so embarrassed that they won't come forward. The cash company that bought Sandy's home will be kicking her and her son out on Thursday.
You see, bro, like at no point did you think, hey, this is a ludicrous decision I'm making here. I'm sorry. I really, really struggle in this story particularly when it concerns selling your home that houses your son that you take care of. I can't. I'm sorry. You didn't have sympathy for him, clearly. So how can I have sympathy? Just because you come on here and cry. Like, I have empathy. It is upsetting. I do feel sad for you. But sympathy?
Where will you go?
We have no place to go. 40 years of my parents' things will be in the street.
No, you see what I mean?
All our belongings.
But you didn't think about
if we
this,
lose
though.
This house is the only house we have.
She's trying to find the money to buy her home back, but Sandy gave every cent she has away. All she has left is this little bit of courage to share her...
Hold on there, because I think the key words from the narrator there, perhaps you didn't mean to add it into the script, but that literally strips away all of this I guess, I don't know what the word is, but that little phrase strips away the whole notion here of victim. She gave it away. All the money she gave away. Gave away.
Indescribable loss in hopes that it saves someone else's future.
Just been a nightmare and I can't wake up from.
Sandy has created a GoFundMe as she works to find the money to stay in her home or find somewhere else for her and her son to live. But she tells me they really want to stay in their home. I've put all the information with this article on WXYZ.com. In the newsroom, Sarah Michaels, 7 News Detroit.
Wow, that is just heartbreaking. Thank you so much, Sarah. And this was such a horrible situation. We wanted to learn more about how you can protect yourself from romance scams like this one. The FBI says be careful what you post online to make public. Scammers can use that information to better understand and then target you. Beware if the individual seems too perfect or quickly asks you to leave a dating service or social media site to communicate directly, and never send money to anyone you have only communicated with online or by phone. What?
Just to add to that, obviously, even if you've met this person, be wary sending money because scammers exist in person, or even someone can manipulate you and just steal your money as a friend. You know what I mean? It happens. Be careful what you post online. I guess it depends, right? Because I know some people are completely dead set on not sharing anything about their life. And to a certain extent, I guess, maybe I'm like that. But, I mean, for example, I wouldn't post anything about my mum, I guess. I mean, in terms of her, what she does on a daily basis. Can I find the words I'm trying to say?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Basically, all of that to say that I would not post my mum, basically. She doesn't really want to be on camera. So if I ever do like a vlog in the future or something, she's not going to be in it because I don't want to betray that kind of respect and privacy that she has. So, but I do know, obviously, some people will put out there, perhaps, rest in peace, so-and-so, XYZ, etc. So, you can't really tell someone not to post something because people are going to do what they're going to do. However, with that being said, if someone approaches you regarding XYZ information you've publicly posted, take whatever they're saying with a pinch of salt. I think a good example is recovery scams, where, you know, perhaps you've posted, you've lost money, someone help me or something, right? You sound a bit like a bot, to be honest. But in the case it's a real message and you get all these accounts replying back to you saying that, hey, this person helped me get my money back, message them here, blah, blah, blah. Take it with a pinch of salt. Thank you very much. How much is left of this?
Mike?
Just absolutely heartbreaking.
Oh, absolutely nothing. What was that they were searching at the end there? I saw single memes. Was that single mum dating quotes, single mum quotes, single memes? What is this person's typing in there? Regardless, I'm going to go see if I can find this GoFundMe. My opinion on GoFundMes when it concerns scam victims is it's I don't agree with them, because what's to say you donate this money and then now your money is not used to fund a scammer because this person quite clearly doesn't really have the financial responsibility of, you know, not a scam victim. I guess I'll see if I can find it. Hello everyone, on the screen right now you can see this is the article. These are some pictures of the family, I guess, I think. And if you scroll all the way down, where is it gone? Goodness, I've lost it. This is the GoFundMe. You click it. I've already had it open, but I guess we'll just go with this one. So as you can see, there's $3,780 raised. It's a target of $400K, which is, I don't know when you need this money by, but surely by the time you eventually maybe get 400,000, you unfortunately have been evicted from the home. This is Save Sandra's Home from Scammers Fraud, which you could argue save Sandra's home from her mistakes. Here is a picture of Sandra. Hello, my name is Sandra Beagler-Selvin, if I pronounced that correctly. I was scammed on Facebook from a scammer portraying to be Mark Harmon. This scammer has scammed me out of everything I owned, including my house, car, financially due to this horrific suffering and situation. I'm in process of losing the only house I have to live in with my son who has a disability. At the present time, we are being evicted and desperately need help as so we can save our home. Please help us save our house so as us not to be homeless. All the money raised will go to paying back the company that the scammer made me sell our house to so we can save our home. I inherited our house from my parents. Needless to say, this house has very special meaning. Hold on a second here. The money raised will go to paying back the company that the scammer made me sell our house to so we can save our home. Hold on a second here. Because is this a legitimate company that you sold the house to so you can get the money to send to the scammer? Or is this another part of the scammer's scam and created this company so that you send the house to them? I'm really confused here, but I hope that's not the case, because if that's the scammer's company, somehow the scammer has your home and your money. I don't know if that's just strange wording, or, you know, the two brain cells in my head are dancing right now when they should be working. Come on, guys. But let me know in the comments. I also think it's very interesting that the house was inherited, and the fact that she keeps reiterating the son's disability. That part, once again, I don't really think you cared or thought about that. Maybe when you were, you know, pouring out your heart and how tiring it is to take care of him to your lover. But at no point, I just can't see you thinking about him and his disability when you were forking over hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the inheritance of the house, I've said in many videos before, that if you inherit money or anything, jewelry, and you pawn off the jewelry, or you inherit the money, it's been passed down to you by parents, potential lover who's passed away, if you use that money or anything that's been passed down to you, you're spitting in their face. So you have not only spat in the face of your son here, you've spat in the face of your parents who trusted you with this home, set you up for life, bro. Scrolling down, she has another, not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, update here. Hello, everyone. I'm still in need of help from everyone that can possibly donate to me and my son, as we haven't quite reached our goal. And with everyone's generous donation, we will be able to save our home so that we don't become homeless and destitute. As our home is very special to us because my parents, whom are deceased, left it for us to live in, and it's the only thing left from my parents. Please, any amount will help us reach our goal in saving our house. Thank you. Just a couple notes there. It's very special to us because my parents, whom are deceased, left it for us to live in. Why is it the public's, like, I guess, concern that the home is special? If you knew it was special, which you do because you're mentioning it again, then why did you do what you did? Do you know what I mean? And so that we don't become homeless and destitute, unfortunately, you've done it to yourself. This might be coming across really harsh, and by all means, I'm not saying don't donate, because at the end of the day, it's your money. You're going to do what you're going to do. I've always been of the opinion that if you are going to donate to something, donate what you can. Do not go above your means. Because if you do go above your means, one, you're not really helping yourself here as much as you do. And I understand wanting to help someone. You do, look, you have to think of yourself as well, okay? And also, if it turns out to be a scam of some kind, you know, you've donated maybe $5 or something. At the end of the day, I don't know, losing $5, of course, losing any amount of money is a shitty thing. But you did it out of the goodness of your heart. So there's that. It's $5. I hope that makes sense. Don't go into hundreds of thousands to help someone, okay? And I just need to stress, you wasn't even helping Mark. You was helping his crew. You weren't involved in whatever project he's got going on. So it's unfortunate that the love bombing made you think you owe him something. Don't. Now, going back to the target, I guess. I love how she said, we haven't quite reached the target. Listen, Sandra, is it Sandra? Yeah, you are 396-ish $1,000 away. So, yeah, not quite reached it. But once again, I just want to go back to this because that video was uploaded 3 weeks ago. So, when are, like, the deadlines here of her being evicted? I can't seem to find that information. So, if you do know more about this story, please do let me know. And I hope you've learned something from this. But I'm going to go now to the original video. As we normally do, we'll take a look at some of the comments. We'll discuss a few things if need be. And see what people are saying. Let's go. Hello again. Sorry, before we get into the tantalizing talk section, I think it's important to look at a few things. When you look at the screen right now, not only is he married, right? I just want to scroll down. His net worth alone is $120 million. But when you scroll down even further on this article, Pam, his wife, has 10 mil net worth. So that is not anything to be sniffed at in itself. So it's confusing to me that not only have you fallen for the ridiculousness of this all, but your celebrity boyfriend, you didn't think to search up and you would see all of this? Now, going back to the screen again, I saw this, right? I'm proud to be married and I'm proud of who I'm married to. And they've been married, I think, for like 4 decades. I read that somewhere as well, but can't seem to find it. But it's just interesting to me that the people who do get scammed by celebrity lovers, right? Why aren't you searching these things? I'd love to know what was said by the scammer outside of the messages shown on the video. Because I assume he would say like, oh, we're going through a rough patch or something. But in that regard, greed comes into play, right? Because even if they are going through a rough patch, you're happy to be someone's rebound because, hey, the money at the end of it, right? He's able to take care of you and your son, XYZ. So I just felt I need to point that out, but I'm pretty sure we didn't need to have that pointed out. But for my own sanity, I needed to get it off my chest. Now we'll go over to the tantalizing talk section. Hello everyone, tantalizing talk time. If at any point you were wondering what's on my hoodie, I'll show you. It's a computer folder. Can you see that? You didn't ask, but I told you. And it only was brought up so that I can make this shit joke, which is shit because it doesn't even make sense now that I think about it. You could argue her reasoning, excuses, is it's in this folder, but when you click on it, you get error messages come up. But then if they didn't exist, how can you click on them? I don't know what I'm talking about. The first comment, very sad, no fool like an old fool. How in the world could she think this was Mark Harmon? It's beyond comprehension. Now she is hoping someone will feel bad for her and give her money. It's mind-boggling. Pick this comment, gosh, for two reasons. One, yes, people did donate, like upwards of $3,000. Now, all power to those people. You know, you're going to do what you're going to do with your own wallet at the end of the day. I myself don't think it's a good idea. However, again, it's people's prerogative what they do with their money, right? I picked this out mainly for the second reason. No fool like an old fool. Is that a phrase that is common or something? Because if this is simply, I guess, targeting her because she's elderly, that doesn't really make sense, because there are scam victims who are younger as well. So let me know in the comments, is this an attack on her of some kind, or is it genuinely a phrase? Because I'd love to know. The next comment is an interesting one. Her house is pretty much destroyed and she doesn't need it back since she was not maintaining it. Also, she spent all her adult son's SSDI money or whatever he gets. She needs to be Baker acted? I don't know what Baker acted means, to be honest, but I know bakers like to use eggs. You could argue she's dropped all her eggs. Or she put all of her eggs, quite literally, in this one basket and it's burnt her on the arse. But I don't know what Baker acted means. Once again, let me know in the comments. Her house is pretty much destroyed. I don't know what that means. She wasn't maintaining it. Let me know again. Does this person know something that we don't? But I picked this out mainly because I didn't even consider the fact that she was potentially using her son's SSDI money or whatever he gets. I assume SSDI is benefits for disability of some kind, or any other allowances he might get. I didn't even consider the fact that she was potentially using and dipping into his money that's meant to take care of him. That just adds another, another stroke to my rage, because not only do I hate victims using their own disability or, spitting in the face of whoever it is that they've inherited something from, but to use and abuse a family member's disability allowance, allegedly, of course, it just infuriates me even more. So I hope that's not what she was doing, but it's very likely, potentially.
Allegedly.
The next comment I just picked out just simply to say this one phrase, right? I hope this is not a scam, really. Mark Harmon, come on. The one phrase being, bro, are you serious right now? I hope this is not a scam. What else would it be? Like, realistically, do you genuinely think there's a slither of a chance that a $120 million net worth celebrity wants anything to do with a regular, degular, schmegular civilian, coinciding alongside the fact that they've been married for decades long? And we saw the quote, they are proud to be married to who they are married to. Really? I hope this isn't a scam. What else would it be? Dirty red. Maybe the rose-tinted glasses that you've got on, the red shade is very dirty and you can't see anything at all.
Are you high or just incredibly stupid?
I just don't see how this could be anything other than a scam. The next comment comes from Gastriasis, if I've pronounced that correctly. They are a TT member. They do leave comments on the videos as well. So shout out if you're watching this right now. I understand completely there's a sense of empowerment where when you provide for a prominent person, it's addictive and can drain bank accounts. It can happen to any of us. I think, look, I say, if you let your guard down, it can happen to you, right? Just in general, scams of any kind, if you let your guard down. However, I'd like to believe, and obviously this video just proves otherwise. But I'd like to believe myself, and many of you watching this, I'd like to believe that if a celebrity asks you for money, you are telling them, get a grip of yourself. You are a celebrity. And even if your bank account is tied up or whatever, you have other people you can get in contact with rather than regular, degular, schmegular me. Right? I'd hope that is the case. I do understand, sure, the level of power you could feel helping such a person. You get a rush from it, right? How about instead of getting such a rush from this, you help your son? I completely understand it's draining at times. So perhaps in this instance, helping someone, I don't know, maybe, look, it's in her nature to help, I guess, someone who can't help themselves. You could argue that, I guess. But, once again, I just feel like we've completely disregarded the son here. And I say we, Sandra. Not me, I'm not involved here. But I understand it. Not completely, as a gastriasis says here. So let me know your thoughts, please. Now, the next two comments comes as a reply to one another. My throat is a bit tickly right now. Not really sure what's going on. I'll drink some water and I'll leave this in the edit as a way of saying, please stay hydrated, everyone. Goodness gracious me. I needed that, actually, because I'm struggling to understand this comment. Proof or poof, 500,000 gone like magic and most likely in North Korea. And then the reply to this is, I thought India, lol. North Korea? I'm really confused there. Unless there's a really prominent story coming out of North Korea relating to scams or something. I'm a bit confused. In terms of this other person mentioning India, it gives me the vibes that these people are sort of bigoted. I'm really struggling to understand. I don't really get it. I mean, tech scams and like those sort of scams, we do see come out a lot of India, for example, and we do see a lot of romance scams come out of West Africa. But it's not exclusive to that particular area of the world. So just, I don't know, once again, harping back on the bigoted aspect, just if you're going to get scammed, I think you're not in a position to be thinking about your bigoted opinions. If they are, of course, I could be reading too much into these. Just focus on not getting scammed. How about that? But someone let me know, what's North Korea got to do with this? I'm really confused. Now, this next comment is potentially the longest comment I'm about to ever read in a tantalizing talk section, so I need this. So, brace yourselves. I'm going to try and not mess up the reading, but knowing me, it's going to happen, right? Calvin says, I feel her pain. Things have changed now. She is from that era when the talk was of isolation, loneliness, but not now. Now, in the age of social media, all talk is of alienation, not socialization, but we are humans and we need to socialize, to feel and to be felt, to share, to love, but not anymore. I am elderly and terminally ill. Once upon a time, back when we were human and interacted with each other, I would have admired or been admired and respected for my years on the earth, but not now. Elderly are being ignored, minimized, and today youth are told to hate their parents and elderly for leaving a carbon footprint all over their internet future. No one visits me, no friends, and no connection to all the foreigner who are here. So I sit at home alone. Once or twice a year, I bump into a real native Detroiters, and the two of us will just gush with glee for a few moments, because when we pass, there won't be any more interactions. Interactions, because I choked on my saliva there. So I know how she feels. She is not lonely. She is Minerva Cheever in a social media universe. Look, now you mentioned being terminally ill, so I extend my strength to you in that regard. I'm struggling to understand a lot of this comment, and if I mention bigotry from the previous ones of them talking about India and North Korea, I feel like I can stand firm in saying this comment is bigoted here, because no connection to all the foreigners who are here. Once or twice I bump into a native real Detroiter really confused on the angle of this comment, to be honest. And in all honesty, I don't know what a Minerva Cheever is. Someone let me know in the comments again. But I've never seen anyone tell youth that they need to, by the way, hate their parents and elderly. It seems to me this person has issues in their life, perhaps of isolation, and they're sort of generalizing here. Now, I don't know Sandra's life outside of the video we watched. She did mention another son who has isolated her, but it's because of what she did, right? You mention here is elderly are being ignored. Youth are told to hate on parents and elderly, and there was something at the top. Once upon a time, back when we were human and interacted with each other, I would have been admired and respected for my years on the earth. Now, I don't know if this is controversial or not, but irregardless of your age, I will respect or treat you with the level of respect that you are giving out. It's not just because you're elderly that I'm now going to sort of brush aside anything potentially that you're doing that might be construed as bigotry or harmful or whatever. So I don't know if that's harsh or not, but I don't care who you are, right? Respect goes both ways. If you don't have respect for someone else, why are you expecting them to respect you? Like, so I don't know about this comment. I really don't. I can understand, you feel her pain and whatnot, but I feel like a lot of your comment is sort of justifying her actions. And the comments I saw that are propping her up on this pedestal and feeling for her, they don't seem to be factoring in the son that she's like spat in his face. So let me know your thoughts on this comment. Let me know in general your thoughts on this entire thing. We'll call it there, I think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this somewhat. I got the feeling maybe it was a more quote-unquote serious one, but let me know your thoughts. Hopefully you've learned something from this podcast. If you do want to watch more romance scam stuff, the social catfish stuff is up there. You want to watch something else scam related, I'll chuck it down here. Bye. NCSI, contact me, please. I will act for you for free.